Hi, everyone. Today's the 4th of February, and it's the day that Forrest released his answers to the 6 questions to Jenny over at Mysterious Writings. Having briefly looked it over, I see a couple of hints in there. Some of them I'm not going to elaborate on, others I will. There's a couple of them that are obvious, a couple of the hints, and there's some of them that are not so obvious that I'm probably not going to discuss. So let's go over it here really quick. So the first question was, it's been over 8 years since you hid your treasure chest to silently wait for its finder. Have you ever been tempted to zoom in on Google Earth to see if the chest is visible or still there? What do you think you would see? So far, it says, I have zoomed into the hiding place several times, but I wasn't looking for the treasure. It cannot be seen on Google Earth. We already knew that. So he says the only changes to that site today are those that nature has made. So we already knew that you can't see it from Google Earth. This is just reinforcing that fact. And the reason why I can't see it is because it can't go down far enough. That means to my opinion, it'll never be seen on Google Earth, no matter how far into the future you go. It won't be seen by a drone or even planes that fly over because it's probably hidden underneath of a rock or in a crevice. And I think a lot of people have already assumed that. But the other thing we now know is that the only changes to the site these days are those that nature has made. So that means in the past 9 years at least, nothing has changed. No major trails were added, so it's not near in an area that was under construction or and so forth. Basically only nature has made changes there. The second question now is, are you ever fearful that your special spot has lost its charm? Could it? In the thrill of the chase on page 125, you mentioned how some of your most memorable spots have seen strangers cast their own hooks into them. Could strangers do that in a place where the chest rests? Or do you feel that your special spot will always be special and secure in solitude? Forrest replies, I am almost umbilically attached to the spot. And as I approach 89 years, my desire to be there is still strong. The immediate landscape will probably remain the same for a long time, for as long as time has to go. So to me, and a lot of people aren't going to like this, but to me, he ruled out right there, without a doubt, New Mexico, and probably Colorado too. Why? Because when he says the word umbilically, he's implying when he was young or very young. So he's basically, in my opinion, telling us right here that the special spot was special when he was a kid. So this is another hint to Wyoming or Montana. Now, again, we know that up until 1937, Forrest didn't go to Montana to stay. They stayed at the fishing bridge in Wyoming. So until he was 7 years old, that was when they started going to West Yellowstone. So, but it doesn't rule out Montana. So we basically have Montana and Wyoming. If you're looking in Colorado, he doesn't mention Colorado at all in the thrill of the chase, but he does mention in other places that where he talks about driving there and stopping at a store in Denver. So Colorado, I probably can't really rule that out. But in New Mexico, if you're searching there, sorry, you're probably not going to find it. So the next question is: there are so many truly unique artifacts placed in the treasure chest. Each holds a beautiful story that keeps getting longer. As these treasures continue to endure the passing of time, what do you imagine they are experiencing? Do you feel the conditions have to be harsh or kind? Forrest replies, I have not been back to the treasure since I hid it more than 8 years ago. Perhaps the artifacts are enjoying each other's company as they patiently listen for the clomp of a boot. I think there's a hint there, clomp of the boot, and I think that that's a hint that it's underneath of a rock, or it's hinting to what it's a hint to the general area, and I'm not going to elaborate on that anymore. The next one. Many searchers feel that they are battling minds with you, as if they are playing a chess game to win the chest. Do you see your treasure hunt as a competition between you and us, or do you feel that your job in writing the poem was actually as an ally to help us find your treasure? Why do you think no one has been able to say, checkmate, Forrest Fenn? His response: several dozen hunters have already claimed to possess the treasure, but none of them could tell me the correct hiding place or send me photos. The treasure chest is still in the Rocky Mountains where I hid it more than 8 years ago. All of the video makers and bloggers who have presented entertaining evidence to the contrary are mistaken. The poem was written to assist all searchers. In my mind, studying the clues is tantamount to using a road map to get from one place to another. First thing he's doing is he's basically calling out people who claims to have found it, and they're saying that it's not there, it's a hoax. Basically, he's calling all of those people out. That's the first thing he's doing. The second thing that I think is a hint is where he's talking about a roadmap to get from one place to another. The next one: you have such love for and fond memories of flying. Of all the flying you have done after the military, what was your favorite flight over the Rockies as a pilot, and why? And which was your least favorite? A standout question, Jenny. My favorite flights were those that when I headed alone and at 200 feet into the teeth of the Rockies, not knowing or caring where I would land. My least favorites are the two occasions where I lost my engine and was fortunate to find runways to land on. Right there again, I think he's hinting back to Too Far to Walk, where he discusses his trip where he would go alone and fly and head north, turn off his radio because he knew he had at least 500 or 600 miles of traveling, and he didn't have to worry about anything until then. So once again, he's hinting to Wyoming and Montana. I think this is completely ruled out New Mexico because you're fly to the chest. It still may leave Colorado in there, but I doubt it. But again, I'm sorry if you're looking into Mexico, but life's a bitch sometimes. Okay, next one. We come to the last question of 6 questions. Question number 42. I must give you the opportunity to offer any final words for them. What would you like to say about the chase or to the searchers? Forrest response: Jenny, since these will be my last words on 6 questions, I would like to thank you for asking me to participate. It has been an enjoyable thinking experience over the years. I want to thank those who make up the community of searchers. It'll be nice to meet each of you personally and share a bottle of Great Bet. But alas, it will not be. I have decided to drastically curtail my social activities related to the chase. The number of emails that enter my inbox each day is more than I can handle, so it's time for me to step back from my computer. I hope those who I cannot respond will blame my stamina and not my heart. I am content with knowing the chase has rooted itself in the hearts that will help it grow far beyond what I first imagined it could. I'll be enjoying my time playing with my little dog Willie and watching the seasons pass. Good luck and safe passage to all of you. F. I think that there's a couple of hints in there, and Great Bet Bottle being one of them, and then there's a couple of other ones in there related to things that he says further on down that I really don't want to elaborate again because I think that some of these hints are only intended to be directed for people that have a lot of this already figured out. And although I like to discuss a lot of things, obviously there are some things that I'm just not prepared to give out right now. The second thing I want to say about this, and this actually makes me sad, because I think that obviously he's getting tired of all the emails he received, but I also want to say that there's a certain couple of people on YouTube that have really been harassing and pestering him in order to try to get him to respond so that they can further boost traffic to their websites and help them out with their financial endeavors of selling coins, maps, and all this other crap. I really think it's sad. I think that it helps destroy the community, especially over the past year. People should be ashamed of themselves of what happened. There's so much greed in this chase that, frankly, it's annoying. You find out people breaking into Forrest's house and they had to be held at gunpoint. You got these idiots that are going into San Lazaro, even though he said a million times justice not there. You got people going after his family. And I know, I mean, I can't even imagine what it's like to be Forrest Fenn because just putting yourself out there, like me or any of the other YouTubers, or even the bloggers, you put yourself out there and you're going to find out that there's a lot of cool things, but you start getting death threats, hate mail. I mean, it's just really crazy what goes on. And I imagine, you know, Forrest gets to experience that a hundredfold. There's no reason for people to go to his house and start yelling at him like a complete fool. I would be damned if that would ever go off over my house. My advice to those people on YouTube trying to cash in: why don't you forget about Forrest Fenn and go and try to run a business like a normal person? Do you really need to rely on somebody else's name in order to sell coins, books, maps, and everything else? Come on, get a life and stop harassing the guy already. It's a shame that people like that have to ruin it for everybody else. And that's all I want to say about this. Have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye. Peace.